Don't. Don't open that box. What have you done? You shouldn't have opened it. You shouldn't have opened it. Opened it. Opened it.
Hello, listening people.
Hello.
You're listening to Spit and Polish Presents The Mystery Box. I am one of your hosts, Ryan Swinsky.
And I'm the other, Bartek.
And we are spit and polish likingly because we are always spitting and we both happen to be Polish. Isn't that correct, Bartek?
Complete coincidence.
It is. And this is our monthly show, The Mystery Box, in which we have a box that's filled with DVDs that have been found secondhand. They're complete mysteries to us. We haven't seen them before. We don't know really anything about them. And we watch them. A guest comes along, picks one at random, and we just whack it in and watch it and absorb it and talk about it. So, Bartek, we're not alone for this one, are we? We do have a guest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He has to pick it. Or she.
Or it. A pet, maybe.
Or
Woof,
cows.
woof.
Yeah.
We do have a guest. Could you introduce the person who came along and picked the movie that we watched? Yeah, your eyebrow went up. Sorry. Thing we watched?
I didn't. That wasn't intentional, the eyebrow thing. Yes, so the guest that we have on for this episode, the February 2019 episode of The Mystery Box, has been on Unappreciated Masterpieces 4 times. This is their first time on The Mystery Box. It is Mr. Stefan Bradley.
Hello, gentlemen, and the higher being. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I went on a spiritual journey today, and I just want to say there is a 4th guest. Hello, God.
Hey.
Or a demon. We don't know. We have to
Or a
keep it
demon.
there. Now, to be upfront with you guys at home, Stefan came along and picked another DVD that is not the one that's titled in this episode, which is The Rise and Fall of Baal.
That's
Don't
true.
worry, we'll get to Baal. He actually picked, first off, a triple movie pack that's for kids.
Yeah,
one of the
triple
movies,
kids pack or something.
one of the movies is a movie with Jim Carrey in it that I've never heard of.
Do you want me to
And-
quickly grab that?
No.
Okay.
We tried to play it in multiple DVD players, clean the disc. It doesn't even have any scratches on it, and it just did not play. So we had to deep dive into the box again. Stefan's holy hand went into the demonic box, and he picked out the one that Bartek and I have been looking forward to, and even have kind of briefly mentioned in bits and bobs in the episodes.
Yeah, never directly.
He picked The Rise and Fall of Baal. Stefan, when you picked it, Bartek and I reacted pretty strongly. How was it for you?
I reacted pretty
immediately-
strongly too. I must say that, after my spiritual journey, I do realize that Baal made this happen, that the first DVD did not work, and I picked the very first one in the box afterwards, and and what I opened was a beautiful DVD case,
Yep.
and I was pretty stunned. Look, I'll admit, I was a non-believer at the time. I was pretty stunned. This DVD pack, which,
It's
looks
amazing.
very professionally created.
The moment I saw the top quarter of it, I yelled at Ryan, he picked it!
And I was like, yeah! So, a bit of background. I found this movie called The Rise and... this thing called The Rise and Fall of Baal at a second-hand store and op shop, the Multiple Sclerosis op shop on Glenferrie Road in Melbourne. I bought it for $1. And I bought it because that store had normal DVDs, ones that were made by, studios and filmmakers and were films.
Yep.
And
Commercially released products.
Then I found this one, The Rise and Fall of Baal, which the spine of the DVD is like half of a man's face and a bunch of grass or leaves or nature. And I said, what is this? Grabbed it out, and this is a homemade DVD. You can tell because when you open it up, it is a DVR, which is a DVD-R, as otherwise known as, which is the ones where you buy them from a store so you can burn onto a disc whatever you filmed.
Yeah.
The ones that usually have the purple or blue or even sometimes translucently see-through bottoms.
Yeah.
So it's not a proper disc, which is a good sign. But the thing that ties it all together, the thing that makes Bartek look forward to it, that's made me look forward to it, that's made every single guest look forward
It's
to it.
made
because
the mystery.
It's made the mystery in the mystery box is it has no information on the back or really on the front or anywhere. It doesn't have a synopsis. It doesn't have a year. It doesn't have anything other than it's a photo collage cover.
Yeah.
That's literally what it is. It's just a collage. There's no spine, like title on the spine, because that's part of the collage.
Is the title
too.
on the disc?
It's on the front in white font, The Rise and Fall of Baal or Baal.
Is it on the disc though, the title?
That's a good question, and it is, and it's in like happy font.
So with the whole DVD cover, the front, the back, the spine, the inside front, back,
The
and
disc's
spine, and
cover.
the disc, the only words are on the disc and the front, and it's just the title.
Look, here's the thing. I've had this in my ownership for so long,
Yeah.
and I've been really worried about... This is the portion which we'd have to describe the cover, because, of course, with this show, finding things that you are not aware of, we have criteria, of course, and it's usually the cover, and knowing that it's not something mainstream, like, you know, this doesn't have Ryan Reynolds in it or something, but, God, if he appeared in it, that would be the best. As Jezebel. No. The cover is a nightmare. I have dreamt about this cover, and I don't remember my dreams, and I know I've dreamt about it. I just feel it in my soul.
I've thought about it a lot.
I've had to describe it to people who weren't around to see the DVD cover itself.
We've also shown it to people that have visited.
Yeah, when people have been on the mystery box and they didn't pick it, I just go, you know what, you didn't pick this, and then they're like, shit. Here's the thing. We will upload a picture of this cover on our social medias because there is no human way, earthly way to describe this in any accurate way. It is a bunch of random photos from behind the scenes and in the movie. It's got a bunch of pre-teens, tweens, and some adults.
And children, too.
Children.
And birds.
And birds.
Family fun for all ages.
And they're all dressed in religious robes and garments, very, very, like, you know, Old Testament kind of garbs. But the thing that makes it all, the thing that really makes it is someone is dressed in a bear costume.
Yep, you said it.
A creepy bear costume with their arms up and they're behind a bush. You open up the DVD and that's the image enhanced on the DVD itself. But behind the DVD, open up the DVD and it's just a bunch of children dressed as animals with face paint on, and that made it even creepier. Now here's the thing, guys. I could describe every single image on this cover, and that would be the entire podcast. It is that legendary. It is that great. But here's the thing that really matters. The name. Bartek and I are professionals, but we became unprofessional of not having this been picked for so long that we Googled.
Yeah, we
and
cheated.
we could not find anything.
Yeah.
We looked up Baal or Baal, depends the pronunciation of whatever actor's in it.
Yep.
And Baal is basically a servant of Satan or a demonic king, depends which one you're going for. It seems evil demon.
Yeah, I've known about Baal since I was younger because my stepbrother used to play Diablo 2 all the time, and Baal was one of the final bosses in it. So I was
Right.
like, oh, so Baal's like a demon or something, but this is... Like, not to describe every picture on the cover, but throughout the whole thing, I always had this idea in my head that, like, was this like a family dress-up picnic and they just, like, filmed a bunch of stuff and tried to make something out of it?
I went the other way, in which I thought it was an organized cult,
Yeah,
a Satanist cult.
Yeah.
Because, Stefan, you're laughing, but
Like a
when
family
you're
cult.
stuck with this for nearly a year, you're going to think of every option. I thought it was going to be a snuff video at one point.
Oh.
I didn't know what the fuck I was expecting with this. This is no information, and no information gives me the ability to create
Ryan,
information for myself.
do you now, whenever you hear the phrase, a picture is worth 1,000 words, are you going to contest it?
Well, no, I'm not, because 1,000 pictures.
That's exactly what I was saying.
10,000 words.
He's got 10,000
But
words.
you didn't get anything from it, did you?
I don't know.
Which is what I'm saying.
It is so jarring though, because when you look at the front, so you got that, like that picture of the sky, which looks like tape. Because it's not like a collage. Well, I mean, it is a collage, but it's just
In the most literal sense, yes, it
they
is.
just put it's like they just got a piece of paper and just put any picture, and it doesn't matter if they go well together. It's so jarring.
Well, there is a lot of green, I guess.
It's a nightmare, people. So we'll upload that. Check out our Twitter, our Facebook. It's going to be there. Heck, I might even change it to the banner photo for Facebook. It is that great. So, Stefan, you picked this. You saw our immense reaction to this. But...
Did you see mine?
I did. You looked like worried. But what did you think you were going to get out of this? Especially from what we were...
Yeah, like, we just basically answered that question.
Yeah, but what did he...
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like, Stefan, you're given the Holy Grail and you don't know what it is.
I mean, I could immediately tell that this was amateur hour over here, and it was an hour, and I was thinking school play, and, I guess I was half right.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a school play, and I expected something religious, and, I wasn't disappointed, so I'm glad that the higher power of Baal... or Baal, whatever your name is. I don't want to.
I'm going with Baal.
Blasphemy.
I'm going to stick with Baal.
Saying his name incorrectly is, of course, blasphemy. So I guess I'm going to hell. But
he's from there, so
yeah, that's true. I guess I'll go
You're
meet
going to
him.
Baal.
But thank you, higher power, for giving me this moment. And I think we are assuming this is a Jehovah's Witness thing, but it's kind of hard to tell when I
googled.
Googled.
Because Jehovah is all
mentioned
over
a lot,
this.
but.
Yeah.
Jehovah is all over this. I'm surprised that no one said Yahweh in there or something. Like, oh my god.
The Bible was mentioned near the end, so yeah.
And
passages were written.
So, my brain hurts. So we were really pumped. We put it in the DVD player, and it immediately goes to the menu. No black, no nothing. And we hear internet dialing up sounds, and then like phone beep sounds of people mashing the keys, and then just pop music plays.
Don't forget the Apple symbol,
And there's an Apple symbol on the menu.
Was there?
Yeah,
it's the bottom right, remember? Yeah.
And it's a slideshow of things we're going to see in this. And the menu has play preview, play movie, extras,
DIY mummy, and slideshow.
So
all typical things you see.
We
on a
said
menu.
we're going to watch every single one of these because we would be prepared. Because they were prepared enough to make a menu. There are some that don't even bother.
That was pretty pro.
They were pretty pro. Now, I just want to have a disclaimer right now. The audio from this movie is garbage. And most of it I will not be able to play because they use supremely copyrighted music. And I doubt that the Beatles gave consent for these guys to use songs. But I will drop in audio from whatever I can. Watch out, it's pretty rough.
Oh, hail the bell!
Bartek, we played the movie.
Yes.
What met us to begin with?
2 production company
Logos.
Yeah,
Did
I
they
forgot
look
the sequence.
professional?
One of them had a pyramid on it that I swear I've seen before, but taking a second look at it, it's had like this semi-professional-ish.
It looked like a professional studio from the 90s.
Yeah.
It was okay.
It looked like it
was
could have been a
decent.
real studio, but it wasn't
Yeah.
like Paramount level.
Oh, no. It looked like the pyramid. It looked like that, Fremulon's logo. Like, it's just so insane. So we're met with 2 semi-professional looking studio things, which is good.
Especially for something that was a mystery.
Go on.
That's the first thing that happens. And then I believe the first actual shot of the film was this low-angle shot that seemed to be set in like a park or something.
Yep.
These bushes that were up on a hill that was going upwards. And I believe it was all the children in robes and face paint. Small children in robes and face paint popping out of the bushes.
One at a time.
And they couldn't help not laughing.
Yeah. So this is what we're up for. And let's not forget the sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The deafening, but also really quiet at the same time sound.
But you know what? That first scene with the kids popping out of the bushes, even though I'm assuming that was real and practical effects, so to speak, just something about it did not look real. Like, even that looked a bit green screen.
It was because
a bit
the
weird.
backlighting of the sky ruined it, and it made it look like they were in this artificial zone, but they were real. Now, Barza, come on. We are then I quickly at the beginning introduced to the framing mechanism that holds the stories together, which is a certain gentleman.
Yes, that's right. Yes. We get a title card telling us that the story is set in 910 AD Israel, I believe it was.
BC.
BC?
BC.
Was it BC?
I think it was BC.
Because it's before Jesus. This is all before Jesus.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. 910 BC Israel. And that our Greek chorus of the film that we'll keep cutting back to is a BBC news reporter.
And the BBC, not like they've used different words to stand for BBC. No, the British Broadcasting Corporation, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they said it, but they
No.
had the logo and everything.
Oh,
Did they
I'm
say
pretty
British
sure
Broadcasting?
he said it.
I know Stefan did, but...
Oh no, I think the man, the very nice man who I respect so greatly, because I'm sure he's listening to this.
Well, I respect him because he was, like, the clearest voice in the film.
Yeah, because he had a microphone right at his mouth.
He was basically dressed like a modern-day man in a suit, but he had like a turban
Yeah,
on?
yeah.
Yeah.
He had
Not to
the
say that
Saudi,
isn't-
he had the Saudi Arabian.
Not to
type
say that
turban.
that isn't normal, but...
For a white guy,
Yeah.
it isn't. And what's he telling us?
He's giving us exposition about Jehovah, was it?
Jehovah. I don't know. There were so many religious figures to keep track of.
I think that was the beginning where he was basically telling us this person married this person, but this person was jealous of that, and they wanted to kill that person for that and take that person, and it was just and on and on and on. It's like Jebediah, Jehovah, whatever. Like he was so many.
I'll give the film this. Throughout the film... yeah, we'll call it a film, whatever. It's 62 minutes.
Of course. I apologize to the makers of this film. It is a film. Sorry.
Yep. Yeah, whenever it cut to the news footage, whether it was BBC or any of the other ones that sometimes pop up, they had the news ticker at the bottom, and even though it looked low quality, it wasn't. It was sort of randomish, like, the gag that you see, like, oh, in the news ticker, if you pay attention, you get a little gag. There were some gags there, but they were all sort of relevant to what was happening.
But also, they sped by real fast, so if you
Yeah.
weren't paying attention,
There was
they're
one
gone.
specific time where it just zoomed by and we couldn't get a single word. Most of the time it was readable, but yeah, it was too fast.
Yeah, and, a few spelling mistakes and grammar issues. Society was all good.
But other than that, the production value of this was real high, right?
Yes,
Stefan?
it was
Oh
very
yeah,
high.
and every time it cut to and from the BBC, like the blue background, the news reporter would either pop in or pop
Yeah,
out.
it's-
Just cut.
That was so weird.
Like he was a ghost.
Do you have anything on his desk, like a laptop and stuff?
Oh, he had a laptop.
Mug?
He had a mug. He had a microphone. He had a landline telephone. That's the thing I gravitated towards the most. He eventually got tired of memorizing all these religious names, so they literally handed him the
The
script.
script.
Yeah, they did indicate that there was a lady in his behind the scenes who would sometimes pop up and just say something.
No, this is the very beginning of that introduction of her,
Yeah.
so I guess I had to incorporate her in, because I imagine they shot this chronologically. Yeah, that was the best. That was the indication for me. We were in good territory
Yeah.
when he gave up and had to get the script off someone off camera. I think. Look, this movie's insane, and we've said that about so many mystery box movies at recent
Yeah.
times. But here's the thing: we did a movie called Stardust. We did a movie called Betaville. We did a movie called Finding Emo. We did, a movie called Space Fury, in which basically it was kind of like, well, how do you describe the plot to these, or how do we provide context to these? But here's the thing: all those movies I just mentioned did have a structure that we could remember somewhat from a chronological A to B to C to D. Like, this scene goes in this scene. This all just blends together with religious things happening, and none of it being explained very well at all. Isn't
And
that
different-
right, Bartek?
Different actors playing different characters too, which
That was the best part.
Yeah.
And not even changing costume. And you know what, Ryan? I feel like every time we've done one of those films on the show, we have brought up that same point of like, we've done these films and they did this, but this one, blah, blah, blah. But I think this is, I really cannot see us giving this film that kind of credit in a later episode because it was just...
No, it's like every time we say, this one's getting hard to describe, the next one's like, oh, you think that one was hard to describe? Wait till I oil myself up.
But this
for
one,
the fight.
and I know you use this word in Finding Emo, the home video aspect. This really was just gather the family together, actually act, don't change their costumes between scenes so that, even though there is a scene where the little children play dogs and they have the face paint is always on them.
Because they filmed him in one day.
And even when we've said that lines have been hard to hear, not only is this the case for this one, but the licensed music playing too loud over it was a really big distraction, to the point where, and we watched this again with your fiancée Rachel Ryan, she said that she had a headache by the end of it, and she didn't stick around for some of the bonus features because the music kept playing.
We also had to play it loudly to understand what they were saying, but the music was so loud, so it's just like...
Look, if anyone's watching this on their iPod Nano, just be careful with your headphones. It might hurt.
Oh, yeah, watching this movie, yeah.
Good evening. Welcome to the British Broadcasting Corporation Evening News. And I'm Michael John Bryant. Today, in the 38th year of King Asa of Judah, Ahab has continued his ill deeds. Reports coming to this studio indicate that Ahab, the son of Omri, has proceeded to do worse in the eyes of Jehovah than all those prior to him. It is as if it were the most trivial thing for him to walk into the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat. Ahab has taken as his wife Jezebel, the daughter of Ethbaal, the king of the Sidonians.
I don't know where this came from. I really want to know.
Well, we looked up some stuff afterwards, and we think that it was filmed in Melbourne, right?
Oh yeah, I assumed it was filmed near Glenferrie Road, where I bought it on DVD.
Yeah.
Because I just went, as if some, Nigerian prince would film this and then leave it in,
Well, Ryan, come on. Everyone in this film was white, I'm pretty sure, right? Even the people playing foreigners.
Oh, all of them were foreigners.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's the best part. Can we please... there's one of my favorite gags in the movie, because this movie does have gags, is there's the character of Elijah, who
is played by at least 2 different actors.
Yeah.
Because there was a blooper where one of the actors themselves got Elijah and Ali Shah mixed up or something.
Elijah, he declared, I'm pretty sure it was him, I'm going to wing it and say it's him, declared a drought and famine and this stuff.
Oh, is this a news reporter scene?
Yeah, I'm getting that. Cursing the fact that Jezebel and whoever the king was were in charge, basically. Jehu was the replacement.
Right.
The king were in charge, and then it cuts to the news reporter reporting this information that we've just been told, and then it cuts to the weather girl, and that whole scene was hilarious, because she has it's just filmed in someone's bedroom with a white wall, and they've printed out something and stuck it on the wall, and stuck little sunshine areas, and she's just it's going to be sunny here, and the whole joke is, since there's a drought and whatever, it's sunny all the time, everywhere, and she's still going through each of them, it's going to be a different weather forecast, and then at the end she just kind of gives up. And that was my favorite joke in the movie. I went, in a real thing, no offense to the people who made this, of course this is real. That was like Jehovah.
It was the most
real thing.
It was the most self-aware moment of the film.
This would be a great joke that you've got here. It would be a banger of a joke. But in this, it's the movie for me.
When we looked at the behind the scenes, it showed us an alternate of that where she was making political jokes or something.
Yeah, which was great.
These aren't songs,
I
these
like
are
that
bombs.
part, yeah.
If you're watching this in a modern day context, these are bombs. Not safe either way. That was the greatest. Bartek,
yes.
There's so much to cover, but also we don't have the entire timeline of the universe to talk about it.
Yeah.
Is there something that really stood out as a favorite gag? Because you noticed some of the jokes more than I did. I was just baffled. Yeah, you read the text scrolls. I didn't even bother. I was too focused on...
I mean, there was one that's literally a skit.
A great skit?
Which was prefaced with a title screen saying, coming soon to BBC Two.
Yes, of course. And what was coming soon to BBC Two?
Well, obviously, the 4 of us were watching coming soon to BBC Two. It's what is this? What religious event is going to come up? but instead it cut to like a pink screen with a box in the top left corner with the person looking around, and then another box showed up, and another, and they kept looking around,
And music was playing in the background.
and there was singing. And we could tell that the tune was very similar to the Brady Bunch. And not only that, but the boxes and the looking around was similar to the Brady Bunch.
Yep.
And in the end, it was the Barley Bunch.
Oh, that was brilliant.
Of course, that immediately led to the magnum opus of the whole movie.
The greatest person in the film.
Stefan, what did this all lead to? So, someone is watching the Barley Bunch on
Yep.
TV. Tell us all about this, man.
Well, at the Barley Bunch, we saw the greatest, the star of the movie, which was Jezebel.
She was great.
She was great, and that other kid, I don't know who
Yeah,
he was.
he was great.
He
too.
played a million
Yeah.
people, yeah.
Watching the TV, realizing that a badness has happened, a drought is happening, is that right?
Yes.
And then she realized that she knew what she had to do. She had to kill. She had to start killing, and she had to kill. Wait, who was her target? It was
Elijah.
It was
I
Elijah.
think.
Yes, Elijah. Elijah, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill your family. I'm gonna kill your dog. I'm gonna kill your bear.
And then a bear
And then
comes
an actual
in.
bear.
And then the guy dressed in the woman dressed in the bear costume comes in, and she immediately chokes it. But it's the way she
It's her
says it, too.
delivery.
It's like she's talking to the husband, and then immediately when she's like, "I'm gonna have to kill Elijah," then she turns and looks directly at the camera, and she's talking to us.
Oh,
now.
yeah.
She's like, "I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill your family. I'm gonna kill your friends. I'm gonna have to kill." And she's like, "I'm gonna have to kill your dog." And, I'm gonna definitely have to kill this bear. And then a bear
It's like
walks in.
if you have the stereotype of like the white wannabe gangster in America, this is like our equivalent, I guess.
But she's
like
a small Asian
yeah.
Australian girl.
the Australian from the streets young girl.
She was what's her name? The Chick Chick Boom girl.
Oh, I remember the Chick Chick Boom girl.
It
Yeah,
was basically that.
fully sick boys.
It's the type of character you would hear saying the word bro, but saying like bro.
She was the best. It immediately that scene doesn't just end there. She has these two Drongo uncle characters, like these two people who are clearly someone's uncles, knock on the door, and she's like, "What is it?" And they're like, "You called us." She's like, "All right, you know this Elijah guy? He needs to die. He needs to die." He needs to die. He needs to die right now. And they're like, "Are you sure you want us to kill?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm Jezebel. I just said kill him. Kill him. Or else I will have to go out and do it myself." And they're just like, "Whoa, okay." And basically every single scene she is in is the greatest scene ever filmed in all of cinema. She is perfect, and when she eventually is no longer in the movie takes a massive dip.
Yes.
there was-
that
yeah.
movie peaked at that point. It kept going once you saw the Barley Bunch. It kept going and going and going. Then once she was gone,
Boom.
Well, here's the thing: her first and second appearance had like a long gap between them.
Yeah, we were worried she wasn't coming
To the
out.
point where, like, halfway through it, I'm like, I miss Jezebel.
Yeah.
And then eventually she turns up again, and then she's very, often in the film.
Prominent. She's like a villain now.
Until she's killed off, yeah.
Spoiler. She's killed off, guys. I know. You're really scared about Jezebel's future.
Like, yeah, she just had so much character.
Did you just say that? Drought? I'm gonna kill him. I hate this program. I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him and everyone around him. He's dead. I hate you, Elijah. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill your family. I'm gonna kill everyone in your neighborhood. I'm gonna kill your dog. You know what? I'm gonna kill your bear. And then I'm gonna burn everything down.
Bartek,
Yes.
could you explain for the listening people in the rise and fall of Baal, to get a better understanding? This is very homemade.
Yeah.
But to give a better understanding, could you describe the locations that they film in?
It was pretty much, if not indoors or in backyards, it was just basically, Melbourne suburbs.
Yeah.
Like, with lots of grassy areas in these suburbs, but, there's, like, the public park.
Where people are driving by
and walking by on their merry day.
Yeah, big nature strips, backyards, indoor houses. There were, like, 2-story houses. From everything from living rooms to kitchens to bathrooms.
This was the real Australia.
But this was Israel, 900 something
yeah.
BC.
This is the real
910.
Israel.
There was a part where it said 3 years later, so 913 as well, I guess.
Whoa, and they must have, by then, got cars.
Well, I mean, there was the whole sequence where someone was starving, and then it cut to a kid opening a fridge and realizing there's no food.
Yeah, that was so good. That was so good. The thing of this is, this is the cheapest thing I've ever seen. They use, I think, like, they show a bit where, at the end, where they have the cameraman and he has a microphone on his camera that looks quite nice, but I just don't believe that he had it on. Because a majority of the film scenes are outside, and all you hear is...
Yeah, a lot of wind.
Yeah, wind. Or the music.
All the time. And the music's trying to block it out. Right?
You can't hear what they're saying.
And the music successfully blocks out the dialogue.
The
dialogue. And I feel like I missed a lot of great dialogue, which definitely prevented me from hearing the real plot. It made the plot a bit incoherent, which is annoying because,
there was a sequence earlier in the film where should I call them Jehovah's Witnesses? Like, I don't know.
I assume so.
Elijah's followers, or the Jehovah's.
The Jehovah's were going door to door to, like, preach, and at the end of each sequence, like, they would get arrested or taken away by different themed thugs. Like, the first one was like an Australian surfer bogan guy or something.
And he came out of nowhere and he was like, "All right, darling."
Yeah, like sunglasses, like bleach blonde hair. I think his top was like almost
a
flannel
singlet.
or something. Yeah, singlet.
I'll admit, that was pretty entertaining.
And then, like, the next guy was one of the uncles in, like, the robes, like, taking away, like, I'm taking you away, or whatever.
You're under arrest.
Yeah.
And then she's like, am I? Yeah.
Very much a mix and match of, fashion styles for
course.
this period piece.
Yes, of course. One of the Jehovah's Witnesses was just wearing a towel on his head, like a bath towel. A big, thick, fluffy towel. It was the best.
Yeah, and another thing, I don't think it was meant to be a big deal in the film, but from watching it and watching the behind the scenes, we got the impression that at some point, the making of cupcakes was a very big deal for the cast and crew.
They even had at the credits, cupcakes.
Cupcakes had their own credit during where everyone was being credited, yeah.
But what else was in that fridge? Was that like it was
chunky peanut butter.
Chunky peanut butter.
At the end.
Oh, that was the post-credits
gag. At the end, the post-credits gag is Jezebel and the guy who played the king are fighting over things in the fridge, and you're supposed to think they're fighting over a cupcake, but oh no, they each wanted an individual thing, and they're fighting for no reason, and basically sin.
I do believe that this movie is actually groundbreaking for its time. I don't know when it was made. Let's just
we usually guess what year this film
comes
out,
right.
and then we know what year it comes out.
Yeah.
But this has no option. So when you read the description, it'll be like The Rise and Fall of Baal. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. I thought this film came out it was filmed at least 2011.
I think it definitely has to be earlier this decade.
I'm going to say 2009, but we will see.
We have.
I hope we get an answer one day from Jehovah or Baal.
Elisha, stop digging that grave and come here. I need to talk to you. Elisha, you have been a wonderful servant of Jehovah and have learned his ways and his covenants very well. So I am entrusting to you to be the new prophet. Here is your coat.
So here's another thing. So when we did Finding Emo, we tried to have guesses for like what community this was.
Yeah.
Were you trying to think about similar things to that in this?
Oh, I gave up immediately because I just knew this was some local church group who got a camera. Like one of them bought a camera, and they're like, "Huh, we can go film and something. The kids would love it."
Yeah.
Jan, you make the cupcakes. Samantha, you play Jezebel because you're such a Jezebel.
Kids, bring all your bird toys.
I've already got a BBC set ready, so let's get it all going.
Yeah, I kept that in the back of my mind throughout the whole time. Like, what sort of community do we have here? The credits kind of revealed a lot of recurring last names.
Yeah, it was like 2 or 3 families in particular. Where
the Page, the Henriksons, and there was one that began with K.
Yeah, there's a lot of people to blame. I mean, thank. And, It was a wonderful experience.
I feel blessed about this movie.
The
to be
fact
honest.
that I can say earnestly that I'm pretty sure I'm the only person that owns this says a lot. Like I know,
I
like
thought-
people listening to this at home, you'll never understand this whole experience. Like with the other ones that we've had on the show, you could Google them and eBay them or find them in some way.
Finding
this,
Nemo did have one single page talking about it.
this. Good luck.
This
I unfortunately did not have a chance to listen to the Finding Emo episode.
Oh,
Can
you
you guys
missed it.
tell me in like 2 sentences what that movie is? And
Christian Australians go
to Papua New Guinea
to Papua New Guinea.
and shittily try to make it into a documentary, but it gives you no context of who they are.
Why is it called Finding Emo?
Because the
That's
village...
the big question. It makes you think of Finding Nemo, doesn't it?
No,
Well, yeah.
it's answered immediately because the village they have to go to is called Emo.
Oh.
Yeah, but why are they making a reference to Finding Nemo? That's the thing.
Yeah.
I recommend that episode, though.
Does it have a good cover as well? Like this
Oh,
one?
it's amazing, but
Oh.
it's very simplistic.
I will listen to the episode then.
Yeah, like at first I thought maybe, oh, okay, there are some adults here with these kids, and they can speak a little more clear. So I thought maybe, could this be like a class project, and like the teacher is trying to get them to explain what they've learned through their studies? But then I had to consider the fact that there are a lot of different aged children. Like there were some that were very obviously teenagers, some that were very obviously
4-year-olds.
early
Oh,
late
yeah.
childhood.
Yep. Ones that were some that were clearly like 50-year-old men wearing wigs.
Yeah, then at some point I thought, like, okay, maybe this is some sort of religious community, like, maybe a church group. But then there weren't as many families. There wasn't enough variety in the last names to make me think, like, oh, this is a big group. So it must be like a couple of families and outliers that were close and they wanted to make a religious product. Because at the end of the film, before the credits, there is a part where, they're not acting, they're just like Finding Emo, talking to the camera about what they've learned.
It's like South Park, right? I really learned something today.
Yeah.
Except that it's like every cast, all the young cast members.
All the
yeah.
children were like, I learned, and you could tell they're just bullshitting their way through what
There was
they
a
learned.
blooper for one of them where one of them messed up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then it jump cut.
Yeah, and one of them was talking about how, like, oh, I learned that we shouldn't be violent and we should teach the Bible to everyone.
No, you got that right, but it was, I learned that you shouldn't punch people in the face.
I remember one of our favorite child lines. It happened very early on, where one of the children, I think, were playing one of the door-to-door prophets, and they were holding some like pamphlets or something, and like, this is the. And we thought they were going to say script, but they immediately cut to them saying
Saying
it
something
properly.
else.
Yeah.
That was great. What about the many times someone off camera would correct the person that's on camera and they kept it in? What about the time? This would be the What About the Time episode. Stefan, what about the
This is
time
the Family Guy episode.
where the woman who was doing the Jehovah's Witnessing knocked on the door and then she laughed hysterically and then she stood back up and then went through the dialogue still and they kept it in?
They didn't cut that out.
One of my favorite scenes, among many.
So many.
It's something about the government. What was that line? Do you remember that one?
No.
Near the start. It's like something about not trusting the government. I don't know. It was at the very start. We were
Yeah.
laughing too hard to really hear
We
any
were
of the
laughing
dialogue.
so hard.
Are you one of Jehovah's prophets?
Yep.
I'm very interested.
It says Jezebel has been.
I'm gonna take you away in the name of Jezebel. Nobody does this type of work. Next time, do not open the door or you'll be in trouble around.
What is government coming to in this country, I tell you?
There's a point in this movie where it demands that we should know what the plot is, and we're like, I'm sorry, I don't know, because we keep cutting to Elijah eating sausages and getting birds thrown at him.
No, the birds were delivering the sausages.
Or her. And
Or
fixing
her.
up her beard.
Oh, she took her beard off to eat a sausage. That was great. You guys are too busy trying to talk to each other about, like, what do you think this is about, Stefan? I'm like, guys, she just took her beard
We
off.
were also thinking, is that a carrot?
Yeah, we were like, what is she eating? Because it made a crunch sound, but it was a sausage. A really dry sausage. Could you, one of you please, I guess this is the plot, one of you please explain the plight of Elijah?
I think, well, there's lots of plights facing Elijah. I think my favorite one was about halfway when we had Elijah 1. I think we're on the first Elijah at that point. Ran for a very long time. And then...
A whole day.
And then Elijah couldn't run anymore until somebody conveniently left a lunchbox and a water bottle. An angel, yes.
Are you an angel?
That's an angel.
We are but men. And then Elijah runs for another 40 days, but she leaves behind the lunchbox and the water bottle, which we didn't see Elijah drink it, so that was a bit strange.
Oh,
but...
was that also the part where they put she put the food to her mouth
and said nom nom nom? Yeah.
And then she just dumps the food and runs off.
Oh, do you remember what the food was?
It was like a rice cracker, wasn't it?
It was a rice cracker. The worst fucking thing you could be eating if you ran for like a whole day.
Yeah.
If you want hydration and nourishment. Oh my god. It would be like, yeah, you've run 40 days, and they're like, here, have salt and vinegar chips.
That'll keep you going for another 40.
It's the worst thing. But yeah, so Elijah's basically running because of...
I don't even remember at this point.
Jezebel.
It's all Jezebel, right?
It's a dang old Jezebel.
Yeah.
Until she dies.
But at some point, Elijah had died in between that. Who knows? But yeah, Bartek, follow up. So Elijah's running for 40 days, 40 nights, but like, what's happening in the grand scheme of the Elijah plight?
There's Baal. Baal is a background. He's spoken of.
Baal is an unseen character. Like,
he's not represented physically in this film. Like,
bummer.
There's some sort of sect believing in him, and they have these things called Baal poles.
Yeah, don't worship those.
In fact, I think like the second thing we see in the film after the bush popping out thing is a
them
bunch of
throwing
children
them.
like laughing and
saying "Hail, hail, Baal!"
Yeah, that was
at
really
first
confusing.
we thought like, oh, is that the cross because they were holding it in a cross way? But no, they were just putting it up vertically.
Yeah, so basically Elijah has to defeat these like basic Satanists by letting them know about Jehovah. Yeah. And how does he do this? Do you remember how he defeats them? It's a poignant scene.
Is that the scene with the bull?
That is the scene with the bull. Yeah. Basically, it's a scene where one group is standing on one side and the other group standing on the other, and one group shouting, Jehovah, 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 and there's a news reporter there, and the news reporter points at the mic and says, but what about Jehovah makes him better than Baal? And then Elijah's like, because Jehovah is Jehovah. And they're like, oh, okay. And then they walk over to the Baal people. I was like, what makes Baal better than Jehovah? And they're like, hail, 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 Baal, Baal. And they're like, and she's like, good point, good point. And it's just basically a back and forth of that for like 10 years. And then out of nowhere, they're like, oh, they're Baal. Baal never turned up. Baal has failed them even after they did this. And it's like some person lying in what is supposed to be like a bull outfit, but it's like clearly like a cow. But we could barely see it because they're lying down on the grass. Yeah. And you could barely see it. And it has the moment in the film in which it does become a Marvel movie because special effects happen.
It becomes a Michael Bay film, actually.
Stefan, how does this film use special effects in this one and only scene?
Is that the part with the green screen shot with the photo in the background?
No, this is the shot where someone, for some reason, shoots a missile at the cow.
Oh! How can I forget?
That's why I said Michael Bay.
Michael Bay shot. Oh, I almost forgot about that. I see
it twice, don't we?
That was really cutting edge, because you could get your phone apps to do that. So, yeah, a big, massive missile in the middle of 1940 BC Israel or something like that.
1940? 900.
940, excuse me, Israel.
And it explodes and the cow's still like fine, and like, the sacrifice of the bull did not work. Baal has been defeated. And then it literally comes up, Jehovah beat Baal. Baal is defeated. And you're like, okay. And then it's like, the news. Let's see the replay of that amazing footage. It's like
there's the same shitty effect.
But with a filter over the top saying replay. What? That was the greatest. We laughed so hard.
What was the narrative context of that blue screen, the green screen thing Stefan was saying? Because
the bit with the photo in the background.
I remember what it was.
Okay, that was okay. So there's a whole sequence in which green screen is used. It's basically once Elijah has defeated the Baal people, again, this is me just winging it, people.
Yeah, I know.
Jezebel is like, well, that is that. Let's get him properly this time. And it has a quick cut of Elijah going, ah! And then he runs, and it's like a green screen of him running from location to location as Jezebel's people are running from location to location. And they are random photos. Sometimes they're paintings, like photos of oil painting.
And they're extremely low res.
And the best part was the one you laughed at so hard to find, which I do not understand how they did this. They did a green screen thing of, like, you know, a photo stock image of a green background. But then they accidentally interspliced real footage that they had of trees. And it kind of just popped in, and it was like, hello! And it's like, what?
There was also one shot where the green screen screwed up and it looked like there were a bunch of spider webs.
Yeah, that's also one of those shots. Yeah. Like, he basically has to run and run and run until eventually he no longer keeps running, and he's curing lepers now.
Yeah.
And he even has a right-hand man who gets punished for wanting profit. And he gets suffered with leprosy. These are all played by girls, by the way, these ones. Yeah. Elijah and is like these two sisters. And this is when they swap. They swap Elijah out with some other girl. And
some successor, yeah.
Do you remember when the soundtrack was really on the nose? When they
pretty much the entire
movie.
When they played what was the Beatles song again? Blackbird. When a blackbird flew on the
actual
street.
Blackbird, I was like, yeah, I appreciate that.
When you say actual.
Well, yeah, actual.
It was like the shittiest of the birds, right?
When you say actual, do you mean some pieces of paper cut up together, stuck on a piece of stick?
I appreciate the prop and actual Blackbird smashed the song.
But that was the one that wasn't like a stuffed bird. It was just paper.
Yeah.
It was great.
Jehovah's people, are you going to be able to consume this cow in the fire?
By the power of Jehovah
can do anything.
By the power of Jehovah, we will be able to defeat the Baal and worship the true, once and for all, that Jehovah is the true God.
Yeah, so basically the plot is Elijah, this new prophet that's spreading the word of Jehovah, is basically having to defeat the Satanist Baal people, and then the evil king, and then Jezebel, and then wiping out more of the Baal people, and then he's dead at some point, and Jehu is in charge now, who's some guy. And
how do we know that he becomes king?
Who, Jehu?
Yeah.
Because he kills someone that we've never met before.
No.
He kills an uncle. He does, because he kills one of the uncle characters who's apparently Jezebel's son. Remember this?
Is that the one with all the bread in the corner?
No, that's a farmer.
But how do we know specifically that he's king?
Because he says he is.
Oh, what was that shot like where he says that, Ryan?
It was fucking awful.
It was a shot of him in frame going, he says something like, ha ha, now I'm king, or something.
Yeah, and he's stabbing people.
Yeah.
He's stabbing his disciples. No. There's a B plot, one of many, which the king wants a farm.
Yeah. Yes, there is that.
The king wants a farm from some guy who's sticky taped some grapes to some plants.
Both green and purple grapes, yes.
To show that he can grow them all. And the king is like, hey, can I have your land? And the guy's like, no. And he's like,
they're bartering.
I've got some money. He goes, I don't need money. And then
he's like, I can give you my daughters, I can give you my camels.
I can give you gold, I can give you a portion
and the
of
guy
land.
just basically, cuts him up by saying, those are all the same thing. But I think he specified it more so to the daughters and the
daughters.
That was all the same to me. And he's like, basically, the king's like a pussy and just goes, oh, okay, and leaves. And then he tells Jezebel,
and he's like
sucking his thumb.
He's depressed and sucking his thumb and like got a blanket over him. And he's speaking.
Do you remember how Jezebel's reaction was to all this? She's like, what's wrong with you now? What is all this about? What? Is it because you couldn't find your remote again? Because when he's watching TV, and she's all like in his face. She's like in his face. And I think she even says some great line like she has an equivalent of, well, now I know you can stop doing whatever this is.
The remote parts.
It's the best.
The remote part stuck out to me because later on, I can't remember if it was later.
It was
or
earlier on.
Yeah, the rain.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Later on, then. Sorry.
Yeah, there's a part where there are news reporters out in the field, aka a backyard, and they're holding umbrellas.
Yeah, because the droughts have ended now because the Baal people have been vanquished.
Yeah, they're holding the umbrellas before the rain starts, and there are two shots of this. The first one, it's clearly like a hose that's doing the rain. The first one, it was acceptable.
The one on the cover, yeah.
Yeah, it was acceptable for a home movie standard, but
yeah, it actually looked alright.
Yeah, the second one, no, it was really shit. But one of them mentioned something about a remote.
It's the king. They're interviewing the king because the droughts have gone, and they're like, "Does this prove that the Jehovah's are right?" And he's like, "Oh, well, I mean, I got this whole thing on my remote. If it gets wet, and and we couldn't hear him, and we could only hear bits and pieces." And it was like, "What's he talking about?" And then there's a payoff to that, which is he gets his remote, and the wife's like, "Oh, the remote." Is like, okay. She calls up her goons again to be like, one of which I guess is her son. I guess they're her sons.
Is that the one with the pink parrot?
Yeah, because he gets killed later by Jehu. And she's like, well, he killed my son. That's it. I'll have to kill him myself. She's always like, I have to kill them myself. She's all like, yo, sons, basically. Or these two goons that are basically someone's uncles.
Yeah.
Can you go, my husband, the king, the king? He wanted a farm, and this guy wouldn't give it to him. And they're like, but here's the king. I know. I know. I'm the wife. Because this girl who plays this role is so good. Because at the end, there's a post-credit scene where she's like, what she's learned, and she's learned about Jezebel. She goes, and I should know because I played her.
She was talking about what she learned about Jezebel, and the fact that she played her was a big part of it.
But she says so cockily, and I should know because I played her. But she's basically like, go kill this farmer. They go off, kill the farmer. Then she comes back with the king and be like, look, here's the farm now, it's yours. And he's like, yay, and the guy is still twitching. And she's like, oh, don't worry, he'll be dead soon. And she kicks him. This is the thing that I bought with money.
A cent per minute. Plus an extra 2.
Cent
per minute.
And
plus
extras.
An extra 2. Yeah, there's basically the rest of this thing.
There's a lot of extra filler plots. Every time it cuts to the inside of a house, it's like a new side story starts with a new character.
Oh,
Yeah, crying with the baby. I mean, the baby that's covered up. It looks like it's probably can't breathe and
it's
choking to
basically
death.
some kind of psalm or whatever. It's just basically, here's a little story.
Yeah.
Here's another one, and they all are pointless.
What was the one?
Sorry, just to interrupt you. He just mentioned the one where the kid died. When the kid gets revived by Elijah, they play "We Are Family," and it was the best use of music.
Well, there was also one where the leper was getting healed to changes.
And
I love
the
the
one
makeup.
from the Shrek 2 soundtrack.
Great makeup with the white paint to represent leprosy.
I mean,
It
it looked great on the specific kid who had the leprosy, Daniel.
Where
I
it
know
wasn't
you're listening.
symmetrical, yeah.
Yeah.
The upper part of his cheek on the left side. Yeah.
It was so good.
What was the one where the two uncles were distracted by cupcakes?
I don't know.
Because there was
where I think that's when. No, I know.
Yeah.
So there's the character of Obadiah, who hid a bunch of the Jehovah's people, right?
In the kitchen.
100 of them in a cave, and that's them escaping the
Yep.
cave, and those are the guards or people, and they're getting distracted by cupcakes.
Oh, yeah.
They're basically
The fact that I can actually understand that aspect of the movie is giving me a headache.
Now you described it very clearly, they're in a cave and.
The cave is represented by someone's
by a very nice house.
These two
by someone's
very
nice house.
These two cloaked uncles are basically standing in front of
a foyer. They're in a foyer,
hallway, passage. The kitchen's clearly behind them and around the corner, and the kids are peeking out. They're all serious, oh, we are guarding, ooh, cupcakes, and they're doing these finger acting, and their faces are ooh, yes, we want these cupcakes. And eventually, when all the kids sneak away because they're very subtle, they're oh no, wait, we have to be guarding again. Whoa, guarding. I thought that was funny and charming.
Yes, I agree. It was very funny. It was very charming. That's a lot of this movie. It's charming, but also infuriating because it's like. You two both said, oh, well, look, they had a cart at one point,
Yep.
And you guys went, oh, look at that. That's really good.
Stefan
No,
Good effort.
he said they put in good effort. And I went, no, they didn't. And you went, no, come on, Ryan. They did put in good effort. And I went, no. Like, I was just like, yeah, I guess for a bunch of people who didn't know what the hell they were doing.
For a bunch of kids, like, I appreciate the effort.
I think the adults made these props. Talking about making things, DIY of a mummy was really important because the mummy.
We pointed that out in the main menu. Like the fourth or five options was DIY mummy. So that told us, and Ryan mentioned it a few times as a reminder, that there's going to be a mummy at some point.
Yeah.
And I think we all knew it was going to be like toilet paper covered. Like
I actually gave them more credit. Thought they were going to use sheets or some like cut up strips of sheets, but they went with toilet paper.
So we were waiting. I was like, okay, there's going to be a mummy soon. I think at one point I joked like, oh, maybe he's going to be the mummy. And they saved it for like
the very end.
Very end. Like, was it just before the credits?
Yeah.
Or just
basically,
after the credits?
just before the end. And it's like, oh, they wrapped Elijah's bones, and then they chucked him nowhere. And...
in a tomb, but it was like in a bush.
Yeah, but they were like, should we be chucking Elijah's bones in this place? And they're like, who cares? And then he came back from the dead, and then they immediately ripped him apart.
Or Elijah.
The Jehovah followers did this.
Yeah.
The mummy, we cannot stress enough, it is just a guy wrapped up in a lot of toilet paper to the point in which when he's lying on the ground, there's toilet rolls.
Yeah.
So because we know this because in the DIY scene, they're wrapping him up in that place and just dropping the toilet rolls there. In the park. Yeah. In the public park. They couldn't be bothered to put it in a plastic bag and put it in their car to put in a bin somewhere. Or something, or pick them up and put them in a bin. They just dropped them on the ground. Probably left them there. It's okay, they're cardboard, but like it's still rubbish, guys.
Yeah, come on.
In a park, like
it'll stick.
What would Jehovah say?
Jehovah would not be happy.
Oh yeah, I want you to kill neighbor because Ahab wants the field, and I'm gonna get him the field.
How are we gonna do that?
Well, I don't know, lie. Say he blamed Jehovah on something. I don't know, blaspheme. I don't know.
Now?
Yes, figure it out. Do it. Go. Do what you have to.
Go kill.
Yes.
Kill.
Kill him because we want the field.
Field.
Yes.
Field kill.
Go!
I learned that during that time it would have taken a lot of courage for his Jehovah's servants to stand up to Jezebel because I would know because I played her and she was really mean and horrible to everyone, including her husband, and it would have taken a lot of faith in Jehovah, and I admire that.
Is there anything else? Because there's so much. But Stefan, is there anything else that you think is something that we really need to talk about, like a specific story or scene or thingy?
Soundtrack?
Did we mention the part where the two uncles, when they go to Jezebel's house and she's standing at the door, she's like, and they're like warning her that people are going to come to kill her, and she's like, let me put on some makeup. She's like, oh, they're coming here to kill me? All right, go away. I've got to put on some makeup. And then she puts on makeup and we got to talk about the Jezebel death. Thing. So Jehu killed her son. He rocks up in her driveway.
Well, she's on the balcony, yes.
She's on the balcony. He's screaming about how he's going to be king, and she's just like flicking hair like, I'm not hearing a word of this. And she's on like... clearly where she's on that balcony, she's like on the second floor of whatever building.
Yeah.
Cuts to a different shot, and now she's on the first floor.
Like at the kitchen window or something?
At a kitchen window. And she's basically like waxing philosophical about like, they can't kill me. I'm in a palace. And then immediately people run behind her and like slash her throat and throw her out the window.
They push her out the window.
And what song's playing while this is happening?
I can't remember the song.
Oh, I do.
I remember what happens.
What
it cuts to.
What it cuts to her on the ground in the best.
No. It cuts to black and it plays like a falling sound.
Falling sound and
because I remember because one of you were like, oh, she's dead. I'm like, no, the sound effect's still playing.
And it cuts to the best shot in the entire movie, which is like an aerial-esque shot, like they're above her, and she's like in a very kind of Renaissance painting pose.
She's dead and her eyes are open and she looks very intense.
And the gold chains in her hair have like shattered all over the ground. It actually looked good, guys. You did a good job with that shot. Except for the bit where she's being eaten by a bunch of 4-year-olds with some fur on their heads and dog makeup, and they're playing Who Let the Dogs Out.
Oh yeah! I forgot god!
We forgot about
I
another
can't
character.
believe I forgot about the Who Let the Dogs Out bit.
Jeez, that was a loud reaction.
I forgot about the character who later sings. Who Let the Dogs
It just hit me like hit us both at the same time. Oh my god, I did actually play Who Let the Dogs Out.
Who
during
let the
that part.
dogs out? Oh. And she's being eaten.
So there is a point where it cuts to a bunch of non-BBC like news outlets around the world, including SBS.
I like that. I thought that was.
Yeah,
It was a good idea.
It had adults dressed as like stereotypes and speaking other
stereotypes.
languages.
Yeah.
Execution was a bit questionable. I don't know if there was actually an SBS Copenhagen, but
You can't judge.
yeah.
Yeah, well, one of them was a parody of an Australian media icon.
Leland Chin, who's been the news anchor woman for SBS since it started. No one knows how old she is.
She retired recently, though.
She just retired,
Yeah.
but she's still active in the media. But like,
I think one of the
she's
news
this old
tickers-
Asian lady who's known for having crazy fashion and hairstyles and makeup styles. She's
And-
great.
I think one of the news tickers said her name was like Lee
Lan Shan or something.
Jen or something.
Yeah.
Leland Jen.
Yeah.
Because she was played by a white woman.
Yeah, she was played
true.
by one of the family people, like the Henriksen mum or something.
Yeah.
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 She was great. The whole SBS coverage of this world event. And the film just kind of ends with, like, I guess, Jahu's king, Elijah is dead, everyone's happy, don't worship Baal. But, of course, we're missing the greatest scene. Out of nowhere, a bear attacks a bunch of delinquents.
Now, Ryan, why are you using that word specifically? It seems a bit unusual.
Because that's what the news reporter man said.
They said it like 2 or 3 times.
He said the bears attacked 14 delinquents, and then you hear someone behind the camera, it was 40. Oh, no, they go, it's 40. Oh, sorry. Breaking news, 40 delinquents. And if you're a delinquent, you better watch out for this bear. And the whole bear sequence is the stuff of dreams. The stuff of dreams.
And
Stefan, come on. You have to break down the bear aspect for everyone.
Look, and you thought that the bear was killed by Jezebel, but you were wrong.
No, that was just a gag.
That was just a bear. It might
Still.
not be the bear.
Oh yeah, there are more than one bears in this universe.
Well, hold on. In that shot, wasn't it your bear or that bear? Or...
Yeah, whatever. A bear.
There was on this. It was in the park. There was bright green grass. Very
They're having a
nice.
picnic.
Yeah, having a picnic, and then this bear kind of appears out of the bushes. If I recall,
As it does.
Wait, no. Didn't one of the uncles run out of the bushes and then another person came out and then the bear came out?
Who cares? The bear jumps out of the bushes and starts mauling people.
And then the massacre
Mauling.
begins.
Mauling.
This poor kid tries to escape. The bear grabs the kid by the legs and drags it across the grass. It is very, very gory. It is very, very scary. This poor delinquent.
As you say, it's very, very scary and gory. Of course, you're being sarcastic, because this is, like, the cutest, dumbest bear outfit, but it's also fucking terrifying to look at, because its eyes are huge and encompassing. It has
It doesn't have pupils, does it?
holes where the hands are for someone to stick their hand out of the sleeves.
And actually,
you can see the feet.
You can see their ankles and their bare soles.
Their bear soles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the bear sequence is hilarious because it goes on for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, he's attacking every single one of these people. None of them are running away enough to get away from this bear.
A lot of the deaths are basically they're flat on the ground. He picks up, well, it's actually, we find out it's a woman in the costume, but
the bear could be a boy.
yeah.
We don't know.
The bear like picks them up by their legs, their ankles. It basically looks like it's sniffing their feet. Then it just puts it in the feet down,
and they're dead.
And then it just like jumps onto their back and like just like pokes their head.
Sometimes it just grabs their leg and then taps the face on the leg, and then the kid falls down and they move on to someone else. Like, oh, that killed him. It's like tag, you're dead. The bear. I don't know why they got this. I feel like someone owns this outfit, and they're like, we got to incorporate it in here.
And in like the post credits and behind the scenes, there's shots of it playing the piano, and they're like,
creepily playing the piano, might I add.
What?
Hey, me lady. Jehu has killed Jehoram and he's coming here to get you.
What?
Jehu's killed your son Jehoram and he's coming here now to get you. Dad.
Okay, I'm gonna go put on some makeup. Get out! Go! What are you doing? Go!
On a positive note, at no point in the movie do you see the cameraman like reflected anything. You see the shadow in the park, but like that's it. They didn't screw up that bad, so congratulations, guys.
And they were clearly having a good time.
They were having a good time.
Look, this is a family values movie, and I appreciate it.
Did you... What...
That's what we said about Urusei Doji too.
Stefan, what did you learn?
Well, I learned about these historical religious figures, Baal or Baal, I don't know how to pronounce it. Let's just go with Baal, though, right?
Bali.
Yeah, with Bali, yes.
Bali bunch.
You know, I learned that you could actually buy this in an actual store for $1, and I learned what you can do with such a small budget. You know, you can... Who says that you can't have a mummy in your movie made with toilet paper? Who says you can't make your own little do-it-yourself wagon? And how come that wasn't like a menu option? I want to know how they made the wagon.
Oh, man, that would have been a great menu option.
DIY wagon.
Bartek,
Yes?
what did you learn?
I learnt that in cinema culture these days, especially the more modern ones, you know, there are, you know, these like, you know, these gangster films, not necessarily like, you know, what we were talking about before, the Untouchables, but like, you know, the black kind of gangster films.
Oh, gangsta.
The things you might see Ice Cube and stuff.
The one with
in.
Tupac.
Yeah, those kind of things. And then you have like, you know, the white people acting like those characters, and you know, they both have their own entertainment values. But I think they're overplayed. We need more Jezebel from the Rise and Fall of Baal archetype female characters. And male, but female, I think it works
She was
very
so
well
gangster.
in.
There's another actress in this. Actress. There's another one in there that was like, she also had that kind of inflection where she said, yeah. She said something like, she's like, yeah, you gotta know about Jehovah. And that was the greatest. That was so good.
The greatest.
What did I learn?
Ryan, what did you learn?
I learned that it's worth waiting to get what you want, because in the end, you get to learn about Baal, even though really I didn't learn a single thing about Baal, but more about, you know, Elijah and all the others, but Baal not in it as much. But it has taught me the value that anyone can make a video project or movie, because at the end of the day, it's only you holding yourself back, because the Rise and Fall of Baal has made a monetary profit off of me by me buying it. And that shows that you can succeed in this in the industry of making movies. These guys had clearly no idea how to make a movie. They had a camera, they had a microphone, they had a bunch of eager kids that wanted to make a movie, and they had their prescribed text of whatever religious background these people are from, whether they're Jehovah's or something other shoot, and they grabbed all these things together and said, let's just do it. And I actually kind of respect this one more than Finding Emo, because Finding Emo is just a bunch of people who thinks, like in that movie where the Australians making a using their holiday to make a documentary, was a lot more them giving their white Australian philosophy without any thought behind it. Even though this didn't have much thought behind it, they had their religious text and the morals from that they were trying to bestow. Even though we couldn't hear it and we didn't understand, I respect it, and I recommend you go get it. I will tell you that there is a preview that we did watch.
Oh yeah,
that is confusing.
Because it seems to have actors not in the actual
It's
thing.
the top option on the menu.
Yeah. It's a preview for their next one.
We presume.
The David and Goliath movie they're making. And I want to see it.
And they credited the kid that played David, who was not in the main film of The Rise and Fall of Baal, in the credits of The Rise and Fall of Baal.
Yeah, Ringo.
Yeah, Ringo.
I did enjoy that gag. I can't remember whether it's in the outtakes or not, but the bit where he's in the little suitcase and then they just open and he's there. That was kind of amusing, I thought. I don't think Ryan liked it very much.
Ryan made a joke about, like, oh, that's why he's not in the film. They put him away or something.
They put him away. Yeah, we watched a preview, and it's basically a scene of David killing Goliath, and it's just as awesome as you think it is.
Because it's a really, really young boy as David, and a full-grown man as Goliath with like a cardboard shield.
And sunglasses.
Sunglasses and with a really intense face.
And that's the preview, and it's like, oh, there's more in this universe of films from these people. Yeah. And guys, if you were somehow behind the making of this, please contact us. We've got the social medias. Our email is spitandpolished@gmail.com. I want to talk to you. I want to know when this came out, who made this, why did you make this, all of this good stuff. Please, on behalf of Jehovah, do it for me. And for him. He needs the word spread about why you made this on behalf of him.
The only criticism I can give this film is that they should have incorporated the message of that you shouldn't punch people more into the story, rather than just the postscript.
Or turn down the music.
That too.
That's a big criticism.
Rachel had a headache.
I missed a lot of important dialogue.
Yeah, man, I want to know more about Jezebel's plight, and is she okay after
Jezebel's
dogs
spin-off
eat...
too, yeah.
Yeah, the Jezebel show. The rise and fall of Jezebel.
She can be the equivalent in David and Goliath to what the BBC guy was in this.
We watched the extras, which was just more bloopers.
Yeah, behind the scenes, we thought that would be more like, talking to the camera about the film, but it was really
just the bloopers. Because I put
more
the
bloopers and extended
at
shots.
the end of the main feature, and then there was just more bloopers in the behind the scenes.
And we watched a clip show, which was just slideshow, which was just what you think it is, just photos.
And Ryan, you were so done at that point that even though it had "Paradise" by Coldplay in the background, which is one of my favorite songs, actually, even you couldn't do anymore.
Well, it's because I hate Coldplay, but
Fair enough.
Coldplay, more like don't play.
And
we fast played.
And we've already talked about DIY Mummy, right?
DIY Mummy, definitely worth checking out. Now, guys, this movie is insane. This is a movie, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Are you glad you watched it, and would you recommend this if anyone could get a copy of this?
You've already answered that, yeah.
The answer's yes from me. Yes from Ryan.
I had a good time. It was fun. There was a point where I think Stefan mentioned that he'd been lost, but then you brought it back to him.
The wagon brought it back to him.
Yeah.
I made a joke during our watching of it that, Ryan, this is the Australian Who Killed Captain Alex.
Yes.
Which is a Ugandan film that was made also by people who...
With a $20 budget or something absurd.
Yes. I guess the equivalent there is they're very much in poverty, whereas this is more middle-class white Australian version of that. It was nice seeing it. It was built up for a very long time for us, and, we've always been saying, even if this is just a PowerPoint presentation, we are going to talk about it on the show. So the fact that it did have over an hour's worth of content to sift through did give us something to talk about. If you can find it, it would be a very interesting thing to say that you own. Yeah. And if you own it, you may as well watch it.
I want this blown up as a poster to stick on my wall. Stefan?
Like a landscape, so you have the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm a believer now, obviously. So when those Jehovah's Witnesses come knocking on my door, I will ask them to come in and explain this. I might have to get a copy so they can tell me all about it. But... you know what? I am glad I watched this because, it's if it was something else, we could have had a really boring mystery box, but this was very entertaining.
Are you glad you watched it with other people?
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
I wouldn't have watched this by myself, not in a million years.
I mean, I would have.
Because, I want to spread the message to everyone.
Of course.
So not just watch it by myself, because I'm a believer, obviously. But, I enjoyed the acting of Jezebel's actress.
Great.
She was the only good one, really.
Very local talent.
Yes.
Local kind of flavor.
I think there was one or two other good ones, but she was a standout. She was top billed.
Yeah, and I'm hoping for the Barley Bunch spin-off sequel.
Well, it said coming soon to BBC Two.
Yeah.
Barley Bunch.
And I enjoyed the SBS Around the World parts. That was okay.
God,
I don't know if that was doing actual languages, but...
I hope so.
Did you like Lee Lin Jen singing Who Let the Dogs Out and then walking off frame?
I love both those parts. I love the use of that song, and I love the Lee Lan Jen, whatever, parody person too. That was very enjoyable.
We forgot to mention there's a rabbit in the film.
Yes. Oh, yeah, one of the kids nearly steps on him.
The cute rabbit, yeah.
He's probably dead now. But, guys, grab my hand. We're going to shake hands because we covered at least 10% of the movie.
Yeah.
But, guys, I honestly think we could make a 12-part series of trying to break this down.
Oh, Rise and Fall of Baal minute?
Yeah, minute-by-minute breakdown podcast.
It kept on going, right? We thought it was over. And
I thought you guys were surprised that it was more than 20 minutes. I was thinking, oh, this is definitely going to be feature length, and it met in the middle.
Jehovah! Jehovah! He will kill you. Bring it. Eventually. Right. We have 2 people, and you're 1. Jehovah, he will kill you and your stupid god Baal because you killed the prophet. I'm gonna kill you!
Now, guys, unfortunately, we're near the end of the episode. We're going to be wrapping up, but we have to escape the room, Stefan. We're trapped in here, and we're trapped in here because we are Baal supporters.
We are.
We support Baal. We have Baal sticks, poles. We have Baal poles in the room, and dang it, we're being blocked by Jehovah himself. He came all the way down here. His foot's in the door. He's saying, no, no, no. We have to get someone from the movie.
We have to pick a character from the film.
We have to pick someone from the movie to help us defeat Jehovah himself. Who would you pick?
Well, of course, Jezebel's on my team.
Of course. Bartek?
Jezebel would be my option, true. But just for the sake of variety, the uncles.
Good choice.
The uncles as one entity.
Well, oddly enough, it's Jezebel. Sorry, Bartek. We're bringing Jezebel.
No, it's fair enough. I was being
Jezebel's here.
devil's advocate.
She's here. We all have a go. But honestly, what's even the point? Because Jezebel's immediately like, okay, Jehovah, you want to mess with us? You want to mess with us? Okay, first off, I'm going to have to put on some makeup. And then if I have to come back...
She's charging up her turn.
She's like, and if I have to come back after putting on my makeup, I'm going to have to kill you. I'm going to have to kill your family. I'm going to have to kill your friends, your followers. You have a dog? I'm definitely going to have to kill that. That bear over there, he's gone. Right? You better make up your mind now, or else I'm going to come back here and I'm just going to wipe out the whole entire human race. And then I'm going to wipe out the next race that you try and create to replace us, okay? And he's like, whoa, she means business. While she's getting on her makeup, Bartek, what are you going to do?
I'm looking into Jehovah's masculine eyes with their feminine voice, and I'm walking over towards them, but I'm not looking at my feet. And right in front of my right foot, there is a rabbit, and Jehovah sees the rabbit, but I don't. So Jehovah is panicking, looking at the rabbit, and wondering what he should do, because he has to guard the door, but I'm walking towards him, and the rabbit's in the way. Right. So he's freaking out from my action.
Okay, Stefan, what are you going to do to stop Jehovah himself?
Well, I'm going to get those pieces of bread and toast and all that garbage that's in the corner of that scene.
Oh, the farmer scene. Yeah.
Yes, the farmer scene, and I'm going to throw it at Jehovah, and it's not going to do anything, but I have faith, so I'm going to throw it again.
So I'm taking the very important role of supplying Jezebel with her makeup. I'm standing there.
You just want her turn to come quicker.
I'm helping her apply her makeup. She's like, Ryan, if you do not hurry up right now, I'm gonna have to kill you.
You're her son.
I'm gonna have to kill your family. You know that fiance that you watched this movie with? I know where she lives. I'm gonna have to kill her. You have a dog? No, I don't have a dog. Well, guess what? Did you have one? Yeah, I had one. Well, I'm gonna ask Jehovah to bring him back from the dead so I can kill him.
And then kill Jehovah.
And then I'm going to have to kill him, Jehovah himself, all right? And then
you're
going to have double dead. You're going to have double dead dog. Double dead dog. And that bear over there, he's going to be triple dead. If you do not quicken up with giving me the stuff I need. And I'm like, whoa, okay.
You're pumping onto her hair.
I'm pumping her hair. She's like, that's enough, Ryan, okay? Because if you do not stop right now, I'm going to have to kill you. I'm going to have to kill your family. You know that dog that died and Jehovah died? Well, guess what? I'm Jehovah now. I'm going to bring Jehovah back to bring your dog back. And then I'm going to have to kill your dog. Kill your dog, quadruple dead dog. Jehovah's hearing this and he's just backing away. Like, okay. And then she walks up. She's like, where are you going to, young man? Come here. Come here. Respect your elder. Come here. She grabs him by the scruff of his beard and she's like, okay, whatever this is, this whole bit at the end of every mystery box episode where they have to escape the room, that's over now, okay? It's done. And now we're done. She's left. Thanks, Jezebel.
And then she comes back and pushes Jehovah off a cliff and...
Let the dogs out!
This is all... No, that's the dogs that she killed. Every single dog that she killed.
Every dog I killed, they killed me back, but it's okay, because I'm back and I killed them. They killed them 5 dead dog times, whatever that is.
Peter, if you are listening to this, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, I just want to say that I knew the rabbit was there all along.
He knew it was
I was
there
just
all along.
pretending.
Stefan,
so chill out.
Thank you so much for choosing The Rise and Fall of Baal. Also coming on the podcast. It was great to have you on.
Yeah.
You have your own podcast, though.
Yes.
He does. It's called the Jezebel Cast, in which every episode he talks about Jezebel and how great she was.
Jezebel, the actress who plays, if you're listening, come on down, because you're from Melbourne. So the podcast that I started recently is called Rock Capital. It's part of Sin Media.
Ooh.
So if you go on Facebook, facebook.com/Rock Capital Pod. Same for Twitter, Rock Capital Pod. You can check out the social media. It's on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Podcast. So basically, it's about rock music, and Rock Capital refers to Melbourne, our dear city where this great movie was filmed.
Yeah.
So,
you should rename your film Baal Capital.
Baal Capital, yes. Maybe I will. So, if you like rock music, if you like Melbourne as well, check it out. Give it a download, rate 5 stars, give it a like, all that good stuff.
That's a good idea.
Yes.
I've already reviewed and rated your show, so I'm already on top of that.
Yes, and please follow Spit and Polish's social medias too.
Oh, he's giving us a plug.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're on the social medias as well. We've got the iTunes, Google Play, all that stuff. You can find us everywhere. Spread us like the Baal that you should. And let Jehovah know that we're after him, because if he comes back at us again, 6 dead dog time. But it's like a pleasure to finally host the episode with you in which we did Baal.
Yep.
Baal, thank you for existing. The Rise and Fall of Baal.
Jehovah too. And
Jehovah, you did a good job.
Uncles.
Good job, bro. Uncles.
Shout out to all uncles and
Shout
cupcakes.
out to the BBC reporters out there.
King
that
David.
are reporting since the beginning of time to now. You guys have been fantastic, amazing, wonderful listening people. And until next time, remember, if you come at me, I'm going to have to kill you. I'm going to have to kill your family, your friends, that dog. That's 7 dead dogs, and 7 is a lucky number. So guess what? It means I get to kill them again. And that bear, he's waiting behind you now. He's waiting behind you for you to die so that he can get killed by me.
You mean me, overweight hairy guy?
Yeah. You are definitely a bear.
Well, we're finished with this. Whatever this is, we're finished sulking.